Dawn came in pale gray sheets. The desert breathed cold. Dust tasted like old pennies on the tongue. She lay still on the ridge, rifle cradled, cheek pressed to grit and stone. Her name was Reyes. Call sign Ghost. She listened to the world wake up, whine through broken antenna wire. A generator coughing somewhere below. Boots shifting. Men laughing too loud. She slowed her breathing. In. Out. The scope framed a courtyard. Concrete stained dark with oil. A man lifted a cup. Another checked his watch. Normal moments before bad decisions. Her finger rested on the trigger. Not pulling yet. Waiting. Then the radio hissed in her ear. Sharp. Panicked. Ghost, we're hit! Gunfire cracked the air. Too close. Too fast. Her calm shattered like glass. She rolled to her knee. Shouldered the rifle. Fired once. A body dropped. Fired again. Another fell. The sound echoed hard off the hills. Too loud. Too exposed. She felt it before she heard it. The snap. The punch. White light. Her helmet rang like a bell. The world tilted. The sky spun. She hit the ground. Breath ripped from her chest. Hands clawed at dirt. Her rifle slid away. Voices rushed in. Heavy boots. Shouting. A knee slammed into her spine. Pain flared bright and clean. Sniper down! Someone yelled. A boot kicked her rifle farther away. Someone laughed. Seals don't die, a voice said. Close. Smug. A cable tie bit into her wrists. Plastic teeth chewing skin. Her vision blurred. Dust stuck to sweat on her face. She smelled diesel. And blood. Her own or someone else's. Hard to tell. A rifle but cracked her ribs. Air fled her lungs again. She tried to scream. Only a wheeze came out. The men argued above her. English. Rough accents. Just finish it. No time. Leave her. Boots moved away. The noise faded. Engines roared. Then silence. Thick. Unnatural. She lay there. Alive. Barely. Her head throbbed. Each heartbeat a hammer. Ghost forced her eyes open. Blue sky. Vultures circling already. She laughed. A broken sound. Seals don't die, she whispered. Her hands twisted. Plastic cut deeper. Skin burned. She rolled onto her side. Pain screamed through her ribs. She bit down hard. Metal taste filled her mouth. Her fingers found a shard of rock. Sharp. Blessed. She sawed at the tie. Slow. Quiet. Every scrape sounded like thunder in her ears. The tie snapped. She froze. Listened. Nothing. She crawled. Pulled herself forward with elbows and knees. Each movement left a smear of dark red in the dust. Her rifle lay 20 yards away. Too far. She kept going. Thought of the team. Of the last voice she heard screaming her call sign. Guilt burned hotter than the pain. She reached the rifle. Hands shaking. Cold steel grounding her. She checked the chamber. Loaded. Lucky. She rose to a crouch. The battlefield spread below her. Empty vehicles. Bodies cooling in the sun. Shell casings glittering like lies. Ghost lifted the scope. Her eye found movement. Figures returning. Careless now. Confident. She exhaled. The desert held its breath with her. Her finger tightened. Not yet. She counted heartbeats instead. 1. 2. Her vision tunneled. Pain dulled into something distant. Useful. Below, a man kicked a body. Her body. Laughter drifted upward. Loose. Unafraid. Anger rose cold and steady. Cleaner than fear. She remembered training rooms that smelled like rubber mats and coffee. Instructors shouting. Hands bleeding. No excuses. No mercy. Ghost adjusted the scope. Wind left to right. Barely breathing. The man leaned down. Reached for her dropped helmet. Souvenir. The rifle bucked. A sharp final sound. He folded without a word. Shock rippled through the courtyard. Heads snapped up. Shouts collided. Weapons swung wildly. Too late. She fired again. Then again. Each shot a promise kept. Her shoulder screamed. She ignored it. Smoke curled from the barrel. The smell grounded her. Burnt powder. Control. A round cracked past her ear. Stone exploded inches from her face. They'd found her. Good. She shifted position. Rolled downhill. Dirt packed into her collar. Her ribs protested. She growled back. Bullets chewed the ridge behind her. Rock shards sliced her cheek. Warm blood ran into her mouth. Salty. She spat. Thought of the team again. Of silence on the radio. Of empty call signs. Her jaw tightened. Ghost popped up from behind a boulder. Fired blind. Heard a scream. Then another. The courtyard emptied fast now. Men scrambling. Fear finally awake. She moved lower. Closer. Step by step. Each footfall deliberate. She smelled cordite and sun-baked trash. Flies buzzed louder than the gunfire. Her radio crackled suddenly. Weak. Broken. Ghost, is that you? Her chest clenched. She pressed the transmit. Voice raw. I'm still here. Static answered. Then nothing. She scanned the shadows ahead. A doorway shifted. A muzzle flashed. Time slowed. Her body reacted before thought. She fired. And felt the click. Empty. The sound echoed louder than any shot. Her breath caught. The world rushed back in. Boots pounded nearby. Shouts closing fast. Ghost dropped the rifle. Reached for her sidearm. And realized her hand was shaking. She hated the shaking. Not fear. Blood loss. Adrenaline burning out. She forced her fingers tight around the grip. Metal cold. Familiar. The boots got louder. Gravel popping under weight. Men breathing hard. Excited now. She slid behind a burned-out truck. Rust scraped her skin. The smell of old fuel crawled into her nose. Her chest hitched. Slow it down. Slow it down. She checked the mag. 3 rounds. Maybe 4. Enough if she was honest with herself. A shadow crossed the hood. A voice muttered a prayer. Not English. Not brave. She leaned out. Fired once. The shadow collapsed with a wet thud. Another man shouted her name. Ghost! Mocking. They knew now. She moved again. Low. Fast. Pain flared sharp enough to blur the world. Her boots slipped in blood. Someone else's. She caught herself on the wall. Rough concrete tore skin from her palm. She didn't feel it. Gunfire ripped past her head. The crack of supersonic rounds punched the air. Her ears rang. She ducked into a doorway. Dark inside. Cool? It smelled like mold and fear. Her radio sparked again. A whisper this time. Ghost, we're pinned. A man crying in the background. She closed her eyes. Just for a breath. Then opened them hard. There's only me, she said. Her voice sounded distant. Like it belonged to someone else. She peeked out. Saw them spreading. Smart now. Careful. They learned fast. One of them smiled as he moved. Like this was sport. Her stomach twisted. She leaned back against the wall. Felt the vibration of footsteps through the concrete. They were close. Too close. Her hand brushed something on the floor. Cold metal. A dropped grenade. Unpinned. Her breath caught in her throat. She looked down at it, then back toward the doorway. Booth stopped just outside. A shadow paused. Someone inhaled. So did she. Her fingers closed around the grenade. It was heavier than she expected. Or maybe her hands were weaker now. She eased it closer to her chest. Felt the grit stick to her sweat. Outside, a man whispered orders. Too calm. Too close. The safety spoon pressed into her palm. She thought of the training range. Of instructors yelling about distance and timing. Of jokes made afterward. She smiled at the memory. It faded fast. A boot crossed the threshold. Slow. Careful. She could hear his breath. Could smell tobacco and oil. Her heart slammed once. Hard enough to hurt. She pulled the pin. The sound was soft. Final. The man froze. Eyes wide. Recognition blooming too late. Ghost met his stare. Not angry. Not afraid. Just tired. She rolled the grenade forward. And lunged the opposite way. The blast hit like the end of the world. Heat. Pressure. A roar that erased thought. She flew. Hit the wall. Everything went white again. When sound crept back, it came broken. High-pitched. Distant. She lay on her back. Ceiling gone. Sky pouring in. Ash drifting like snow. Her lungs burned. Each breath shallow and sharp. She tried to move her legs. Nothing answered. Footsteps approached. Slow this time. Cautious. Weapons raised. Shadows fell across her face. Someone spoke her language. A different voice. Unsteady. Ghost? She tried to answer. Her mouth opened. Only blood came out. The shadows leaned closer. And the world narrowed to the sound of her own breathing. It rasped. Wet. Uneven. She focused on it anyway. In. Out. Hands grabbed her vest. Rough. Urgent. American voices now. Shocked. Jesus! Is that her? Ghost is alive. Alive sounded fragile. Like a rumor. Someone cut fabric. Cold air rushed her skin. Pain bloomed everywhere at once. She groaned. Hated the sound. A needle stabbed her thigh. Fire. Then warmth spreading. Stay with me, a man said. His voice shook. Not fear. Anger. She tried to focus on his face. Couldn't. Just shapes. Light and shadow. She smelled smoke still. And something sweet. Burnt explosives. The battlefield whispered behind them. Distant shots. Not done yet. Where's the rest? Someone asked. Silence answered. Too long. A hand squeezed hers. Tight. Human. You did this alone? She wanted to laugh. Wanted to scream. Her throat wouldn't cooperate. Images flashed instead. Boots. Laughter. Her rifle sliding away. Seals don't die. Her eyes burned. She forced them open. Met the medic's stare. Don't, she croaked. The word tore out of her. Don't what? Don't, say it's over. The medic swallowed. Gunfire cracked closer now. Urgent shouts. They lifted her. Pain roared back to life. She clenched her jaw. Refused to scream. The sky tilted as they moved. Dust rained down again. She watched it fall. Thought of the ridge. The first shot. The moment everything broke. Her radio crackled faintly. A voice. Not clear. Not gone either. Her heart kicked hard. She tried to listen. Tried to speak. The world dimmed around the edges. But the battlefield was still breathing. And somewhere in the noise. Ghost wasn't finished yet. The stretcher jolted. Metal clanged. Someone cursed. Round snapped overhead. Too close again. She tasted copper. Her eyelids fluttered. Heavy. The medic leaned over her. His face streaked with soot. "You hear me?" She nodded. Barely. Her fingers twitched. Still there. Still hers. A helicopter thumped somewhere distant. Not close enough. Not yet. The ground team slowed. Then stopped. Shadows moved fast along the wall. Wrong direction. Someone shouted. "Contact left!" The word hit harder than the morphine. They set her down. Too gently. Like they were afraid she'd break. She wanted to tell them to move. To run. Her mouth wouldn't shape the words. She smelled hot metal again. Fresh. Incoming. A young voice cracked nearby. "We're boxed in." Fear raw and untrained. Ghost forced her eyes open. The rifle lay a few feet away. Her rifle. Someone had brought it back. She didn't know who. Didn't care. Her hand slid off the stretcher. Fingers dragging through dust. Every inch screamed. She wrapped her hand around the stock. The weight steadied her. The medic saw it. Shook his head. "No! Stay down." She met his eyes. Hard. Clear. The shaking was gone now. She pulled herself upright. Pain flared white-hot. She welcomed it. Kept her awake. Gunfire erupted again. Closer than before. Walls chipped. Someone went down screaming. Ghost brought the rifle up. The scope swam. Then settled. A familiar calm slid into place. Like a door closing. Her breath evened out. She found a target. Centered mass. Finger tightening. The medic shouted her name. Someone grabbed her shoulder. She shrugged them off. "SEALs don't die," she whispered. Not bravado. A promise. She squeezed the trigger. The shot cracked sharp and clean. The recoil punched her shoulder. Pain screamed. She stayed upright. The man in her scope spun and dropped. Surprise frozen on his face. Another target moved. Then another. She worked the bolt by feel. Muscle memory older than fear. Rounds answered her fire. Stone exploded beside her head. Someone shouted her name again. Closer now. Urgent. The medic dragged her backward. She fought him. Weak. Furious. "Enough!" he yelled. She ignored him. Lifted the rifle again. Her vision tunneled. Edges dark. Heartbeat loud in her ears. She fired once more. Missed. Adjusted. Fired again. A body fell behind a wall. Silence rushed in. Brief. Deceptive. The helicopter thunder grew louder. Close now. Wind kicking dust into spirals. Rotor wash stung her eyes. Someone screamed for smoke. A canister popped. White bloomed across the courtyard. Ghost sagged. Her strength finally breaking. Hands caught her this time. Firm. Refusing to let go. They hauled her toward the noise and wind. Toward the rising storm. She looked back once. Through smoke and fire. Saw movement still. Shadows not finished. Her radio crackled again. Clearer now. A familiar call sign. Calling her name. Her breath caught hard. The helicopter door yawned open. Gunfire surged from the smoke. Too close. Too many. Ghost tightened her grip on the rifle. Even as they pulled her away. Even as the world tilted. Her finger stayed near the trigger. The rotor wash screamed. Dust blinded everything. Hands pried the rifle from her grip. She fought them. Weak punches. Clumsy. Someone wrapped an arm around her chest. Held her tight. "Ghost, look at me," a voice said. She tried. Really tried. The smoke thinned for a heartbeat. She saw the courtyard again. Saw figures moving through it. Not running. Advancing. Too organized. Too calm. Her radio burst alive. Clear now. Too clear. Reyes. Her real name. Her stomach dropped. Only one person used it out there. A voice she thought was gone. A voice that shouldn't exist. "We're not done," it said. The medic swore. Gunfire slammed into the helicopter's side. Metal rang like a drum. Someone yelled to lift. Another yelled no. Ghost's vision blurred. Then sharpened again. Pain flaring her back into focus. She twisted in their grip. Looked past the door. Past the smoke. Saw a silhouette standing in the open. Unafraid. Watching the helicopter. Watching her. He raised his rifle slowly. Deliberate. Personal. Her heart hammered. She reached for a weapon. Found only air. The helicopter lurched upward. Not fast enough. The silhouette stepped forward. Closer. Clearer. Ghost locked eyes with him. Recognition hit harder than any bullet. Her breath stopped. The radio crackled once more in her ear. Soft. Almost gentle. "Welcome back to the fight." The words crawled under her skin. Cold. Familiar. Her pulse spiked. Not fear. Something worse. Memory. The helicopter climbed another foot. Then lurched sideways. A round tore through the open door. Too close. Metal screamed. The crew chief fired back blind. Muzzle flashes strobing the smoke. Ghost strained against the hands holding her. Her chest burned. Her ribs felt like broken glass shifting. "Put me down," she rasped. No one listened. They never did at the wrong moment. The silhouette below didn't fire. Didn't rush. He just watched. Like time belonged to him. Rotor wash flattened the smoke for a second. Enough. She saw his face. Beard trimmed short. Eyes calm. Too calm. A scar she remembered tracing once. Long ago. Before everything went bad. Her throat tightened. Guilt surged up hard and fast. She tasted it like blood. "You're dead," she whispered. The radio answered immediately. "I was," the voice said. "Then you left." Her eyes burned. The helicopter rose higher now. Faster. Rounds snapped past. One punched into the skid. Another missed her head by inches. She flinched despite herself. The man below finally lifted his rifle. Not at the helicopter. At her. Aiming through chaos. Through smoke. Through distance. Like he knew her breathing pattern. Like he always had. "Ghost!" the medic shouted. She didn't hear him anymore. Her world narrowed to a single point. The scope she didn't have. The trigger she couldn't reach. The shot she couldn't take. The rifle barked from below. The sound cracked clean and final. The helicopter jolted violently. Someone screamed. Warmth spread across her side. Too warm. Too fast. She gasped. Air refused to cooperate. The man lowered his rifle. Already turning away. Certain. The radio hissed one last time. "Next time," the voice said. The helicopter climbed hard now. The battlefield shrinking beneath them. Smoke swallowing everything whole. Ghost stared at the empty space where he'd been. Her vision dimming again. Hands pressing hard against her wound. Shouting her name. Begging. Promising. She tried to speak. Tried to warn them. Because she knew something they didn't. The war hadn't followed her home. She'd flown straight back into it. Impact never came. The scream of metal softened. The world slowed. Then steadied. The helicopter leveled out. Barely. Alive by inches. Hands stayed pressed to her wound. Hard. Unforgiving. Keeping her here. Keeping her breathing. The alarms faded one by one. Replaced by the steady thump of rotors. A rhythm. Almost comforting. Ghost stared at the ceiling. Watched shadows slide past exposed wiring. Thought of the man on the ground. The one who shouldn't exist. The one who knew her name. Her grip loosened on the medic's sleeve. Not surrender. Exhaustion. He noticed. Held her hand instead. "You're safe," he said. She almost corrected him. Almost warned him again. But her strength was gone. The radio stayed silent now. No whispers. No promises. Just static. The desert fell away beneath them. Smoke shrinking into nothing. Bodies becoming shapes. Then memories. Her eyes finally closed. Not in defeat. In trust. Because Ghost had done what she always did. She held the line. Alone if she had to. And somewhere below, unfinished and watching, the fight waited patiently.